What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, coming at you this week with WWE News and Rumors. Now, I have a lot of stuff this week, guys. This has been a very busy week, mainly because of Jack Swagger. Now, I have a lot of news on Jack Swagger and what WWE's creative direction is after this week. Now, as of Wednesday night, they've been planning on scripting changes for the Swagger character and the match at WrestleMania with Del Rio. I'll get into that in a little bit, but first, I want to tell you, one of my subscribers called me a CM Punk mark. CM Punk sucks. Get off his nutsack. I want to tell you something. The Undertaker challenged Punk, or wants Punk, at WrestleMania. This is no other choice but The Undertaker. The Undertaker has earned the right to fight who he wants at WrestleMania. Obviously, The Undertaker sees Punk as a worthy opponent or deserves to fight him or stand in the ring with him at WrestleMania. What does that tell you about CM Punk? That tells you CM Punk has made it. He is the best in the world for that reason. And if you don't respect The Undertaker's decision, you're not going to respect anybody's decision in the wrestling business, period. The Undertaker wants Punk to end the streak. Vince doesn't. What does that tell you about Punk and where he stands in his status in wrestling? He's made it, folks. Punk is the best in the world, regardless of whether you hate him or you love him. Yeah, I'm a CM Punk mark. Who isn't? Punk has brought a wider audience to the wrestling product again, just because of his character and his heel character. He's the best heel in the business. So if you got disrespect for CM Punk, obviously you're going to have disrespect for The Undertaker, because this is what The Undertaker wants. If, and I say if, he commits to a match at WrestleMania. Enough of that. I want to get into the news, guys. I'm going to start off, let me click my notes here. I'm going to start off with what we seen on Monday Night Raw for The Rock's new WWE Championship belt. I have one thing to say about the new championship belt, and I'm going to show you. This is the belt. This is the belt they should have brought back. The new belt sucks. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, the biggest news story this week is Jack Swagger, okay? Swagger was arrested following Tuesday's SmackDown in Mississippi. We all know that. He was arrested for marijuana, speeding, and he was driving under the influence. He's got a court date March 12th in Biloxi, Mississippi. He was pulled over 11:59 that night after the tapings. He went out to party. All right, an officer stopped him, noticing a 2013 Ford Taurus was speeding. The spokesperson that was speaking on Swagger's behalf noted that he was released on a summons to an acquaintance who picked him up at the police station. There is no confirmed word yet on what WWE's actions are, if any, with Jack Swagger. All right, the only thing we've heard is that WWE is considering booking changes. But as of Wednesday night, they were sitting down together, contemplating changes. Possible replacement, or most likely replacement right now, is Dolph Ziggler. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I was surprised Swagger won the Elimination Chamber to begin with. I really didn't think he was going to win. I was either going with Randy Orton or Mark Henry to win. Why don't you think Randy Orton didn't win the Elimination Chamber? He's clearly the WWE's second biggest babyface behind John Cena. So why isn't he being pushed towards a World Heavyweight Championship run? Simple. WWE will not and cannot push a wrestler they cannot trust. If they haven't given Randy Orton star treatment, they certainly will not be doing Jack Swagger any favors. If his match with Del Rio is still on after the next coming weeks, I would be in complete shock. WWE should not trust Swagger because he has already fucked up in the past and has been in violation already with WWE's wellness policy for marijuana. Alright? As far as I'm concerned, he fucked himself over here. This is bigger than what his past violation was. He's in the news. He's in the championship match at WrestleMania. WWE does not want that bad exposure. They will be taking the actions against Swagger. That's my opinion. Alright, this is the biggest push of his career, and he flushed it right down the toilet. I don't think a match with Del Rio anyway did the card any favors. It wasn't WrestleMania worthy to me, in my opinion. Especially when you put it against Triple H vs. Lesnar, Cena vs. The Rock, Punk vs. Taker if it happens. It screams undercard, and probably will open the show if it did happen. Anyway, if I was WWE Creative, I would replace Swagger with Mark Henry, or if WWE really wants to be creative, have Ziggler cash in on Raw, make history, and have Ziggler going into WrestleMania with the World Heavyweight Championship, and have Del Rio chase him for the belt. And a match between the two, rematch, happen at WrestleMania. But that's my opinion, that's the way I would do it. I obviously don't work for WWE. Next, we have more Swagger news. Fox News was all over the Zeb Coulter character. They had a 5-minute segment bashing the character and ripping the gimmick about Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. This pisses me off. Swagger's been in the news all over the place, not only regarding his arrest, but also his character. This pisses me off as a wrestling fan. I'll tell you why. The clowns in the media have no fucking business talking about what happens on WWE TV. These are the kind of people who make fun of it for being fake. But when something like Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger come along with a gimmick that is obviously for illegal immigration in our country, all of a sudden they think it's real. Why? Because they're talking about real life issues? Fuck you, Fox News. You're assholes. Alright, that's my opinion on you. You're fucking assholes. It's a scripted TV show. Swagger is playing a heel, or what we call a bad guy. If he got under your skin, obviously he's doing his job and doing it good. Alright? They're talking about a topic most of us, or most of the country, agree with. So, if they got under your skin, if Zeb Coulter got under your skin, they're doing their job. Leave it at that. Good TV. Christian Cage has recently been medically cleared to return to action and is waiting for Creative to write him back into the storylines. Darren Young will be out of action until early October, if possible. I look forward to Christian returning, as he's going to add more depth to the roster and add some nice star power to SmackDown this spring. Not sure if he will be in the plans for WrestleMania, though. I wish he was. As for Darren Young, he's going to be out until October is what I'm hearing, but he recently tweeted that him and Titus O'Neil want the Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania for the Tag Team Championship against Team Hell No. I don't think that's going to happen, but Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, the primetime players, I enjoy their act, but the Tag Team division right now is floundering just as worse as the Divas division, in my honest opinion. In a new interview with Fighting Spirit magazine, Hulk Hogan ripped Bret Hart and claimed that Bret Hart drove down the salaries of future WWE champions by agreeing to work for less than everyone else. Hogan went on to say the main event guy made the most money when he had the belt. When I was the WWF champion, I made the most money. It was an old rule that Vince McMahon Sr. had, thank God, and it was passed down for quite some time. That changed when Bret became champion. He'd work for a lot less money than everybody else, so it changed everybody's pay. Later in the interview, Hogan also implied that he felt that Hart was two-faced. Last time I saw Bret, he was flying around in my Learjet with me and playing with my kids in the pool. Then all of a sudden, we're not cool anymore. This is Hogan trying to get some attention. His bar and grill down in Florida is doing horribly. He got horrible reviews. So Hogan just wants to get back into the media spotlight. There's no need to talk about Bret Hart, who really isn't of any relevance anymore. I don't care what Hogan says about Bret Hart. Bret's one of the greatest of all time, one of the greatest WWE champions ever, and was possibly better than Hogan in every fucking way. So, to compare Hogan and Bret Hart is just a joke. They don't need to be compared. It's like night and day. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns have been getting rave reviews behind the scenes in WWE. This is nothing new. All three members of the Shield are said to be breakout potential, with Reigns having the look and intensity of a top-tier guy, Rollins being a great wrestler, Ambrose having the it factor, and that's going to set him apart from everybody else. Ambrose has been given the strong compliment of being compared to a modern-day Terry Funk. I've said this from the beginning, that Ambrose was the star of the group, and that he reminds me of a young heel Roddy Piper with his facial expressions, and Brian Pillman when he was that psychopathic character feuding with Steve Austin. But I also can see some characteristics of Terry Funk as well. I'm already highly invested in what the Shield does because I'm for the future of the WWE. Alright? And these three guys are the future of the business, not only the WWE. I look forward to watching all three men grow and create their own paths in the WWE. Vince McMahon is said to be tired of the CM Punk vs. John Cena feud. Their match next week on Raw will reportedly be the last time we see them cross paths for a while. WWE has been teasing a Ryback heel turn lately as well, which could also lead to a feud with John Cena after WrestleMania 29. WWE's writing team has also said to be in somewhat of a rut lately, with a lot of disagreements and politics backstage. The recent flip-flopping on the Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow breakup is seen as one example of poor planning and lack of commitment to storylines. Many of WWE's top talents, including The Rock, CM Punk, John Cena, and others, are pitching their own ideas and not relying on creative to direct their characters. First off, I don't blame Vince McMahon for being tired of Punk vs. Cena. It's been done to death and needs to end. And Monday we will see that feud end for a very long time. But we all know their match on Monday is going to end in some type of controversy. Otherwise, why book the match to begin with? This is when we're going to find out, is it going to be a triple threat match at Mania? Or is The Undertaker going to return to challenge Punk and screw him out of this match to fight The Rock at WrestleMania for a third time. Also, as far as WWE Creative goes, I don't know if they're under stress or what the problem is, but WrestleMania, I've been very vocal about this, has not got me excited yet. Call me picky, call me whatever you want. It just doesn't feel like the road to WrestleMania to me. Yes, it will be exciting, and I of course will be watching, and the build, again, seems weak, and right now very stale. We have 6 weeks of TV left, so my opinion is probably going to change between now and then, but that's my feeling as of this video. As for Ryback heel turn, it's not needed right now. I don't want it to happen. I think the idea is good, but right now, he's still fresh as a babyface. You spent so much time building him up as a babyface, keep him as a babyface. Anyway, if you want to put Ryback versus Cena, I think both men as heels will sell a pay-per-view regardless. If done right, what you need to do is build Ryback back up as a dominant character after having him lose 5 straight pay-per-views. And if done right, like I said, this could be the modern-day Hogan vs. Warrior feud for our era. That's just my opinion. The Vince McMahon vs. Paul Heyman fight on Raw next week will likely set up Brock Lesnar vs. Triple H at WrestleMania 29. Lesnar is already committed to the show, so expect a run-in. If The Undertaker also does commit to wrestle at WrestleMania 29, Monday's Raw from Dallas is a logical opportunity for him to return. One scenario discussed would be The Undertaker costing Punk the match with Cena and a shot at The Rock at WrestleMania, setting up the match between them at WrestleMania. There is also talk within WWE about how Creative is handling Dolph Ziggler's push. While nothing has been said about the push lately, he's had strong wins over Randy Orton at Survivor Series and John Cena at TLC, but Ziggler has been constantly losing on WWE TV lately. He is still in line for a world title run, but the momentum he had at the end of 2012 has stalled out. I gave you my opinion on what I would do with Ziggler after all this swagger news that came out this week in the beginning of this video. As for Vince Heyman's supposed match, it's logical that Lesnar will get involved as he's slated to appear on the show, as well as Triple H getting involved, beginning their feud going into WrestleMania. The planned main event for WrestleMania 30 in 2014 from New Orleans is right now tentatively scheduled for The Rock versus Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman alluded to this blockbuster match on his Twitter last week. WWE has been purposely keeping Lesnar and Rock away from each other the best they can, although both will be on Raw together the week before WrestleMania 29. WrestleMania 30 already looks to be huge. The WWE is going to go all out for WrestleMania 30. And, you know, in my honest opinion, the way WWE is handling WrestleMania 29, I already stated that already. WrestleMania 30 right now is already looking like a must-see show compared to WrestleMania 29. If I had my chance to book WrestleMania 30, Rock versus Lesnar, Cena versus Undertaker, Austin versus Punk, be one of the greatest shows in the modern era, easily. All talks of doing Rey Mysterio versus Sin Cara at WrestleMania 29 have ended. No word yet if this is still the plan, but Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio build, if it's supposed to happen, or if it does happen, the build is going to be the arm breaker versus the ankle lock and go a storyline with that, which doesn't really make any sense to me. The Miz is still using the figure 4 leg lock. It appears the storyline of pushing him as the next Ric Flair is finished. His push will still continue as he's doing a movie that's coming out soon, so they're going to want to push that. People close to Steve Austin believe that he will never wrestle again. If Austin is going to try for one more match, it will likely be at WrestleMania 30 in 2014, where he will be 49 years old. Austin Punk. Make it happen. That's the news and rumors, guys. That's all I got for you this week. I hope you enjoyed. It was a ton of shit. Monday Night Raw is going to be huge this week with the main event of Cena versus Punk. Lesnar Triple H is going to be there. A possible Undertaker return. What is Dolph Ziggler going to be doing? What is WWE Creative's mind right now with this whole Jack Swagger situation? Will they push Ziggler towards a world title shot? Will they take the belt off Del Rio? Will Swagger be out of the main event officially on Monday Night Raw? Going to be a big show. Can't miss it. But that's the news and rumors, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not done so already. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Leave me some comments down below on what you think about everything. And I'll talk to you guys for Monday Night Raw, guys, on Tuesday next week. See you later.